Hello everyone, Clark the Geek here. Welcome back to a brand new video and another one of our Series 1 review podcasts. This is the 8th episode out of 10 that we're doing, and we're with Ronnie again. How are you?
I'm alright, how am you?
I'm alright. I've been feeling a bit groggy this week.
Oh, a bit dead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm better now, but I'm still a bit nasally. But like back Sunday, Monday, I was just awful.
Oh, it's a shame. I would have had to listen to my voice for the old podcast. Ooh, that's like Guantanamo Bay torture. Anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't the Rona, by the way. I need to just say.
Oh God, yeah, you're not. It's not COVID-19.
It's not COVID-19, no.
No.
But anyway, today we're reviewing episodes 9 and 10 of Series 1. The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. The introduction to John Barrowman as Captain Jack.
Of course, yeah.
And written by Stephen Moffat, my guy.
Stephen Moffat?
Yeah.
Like...
Yes.
I didn't know that.
You... What?
I genuinely didn't know that.
You didn't know that it was written by Moffat?
No. Jesus. I mean,
Call
fair
yourself...
play. Fair play.
I'm kicking you off the podcast, man. You call yourself...
I mean, besides Series 5 and Series 10, it's the only thing I like that Moffat's done.
Oh, okay then.
Per se. Not the biggest fan, but anyway, continue.
Let's get into it. So, Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor, and I just remembered he's on Big Finish now. His box set came out yesterday. I just remembered.
Oh, well, happy returns.
I haven't managed to get it, but I will try and track it down. Anyway, Eccleston. I would probably say this is his best performance as the Doctor.
Yes. I was going to say, of this series, but unfortunately, it's the only one we've got. But obviously, Big Finish as well. But yeah, it's cracking. Absolutely fantastic.
Hey.
But yeah, it's just a great performance.
Yeah, he knocks it out of the park. I mean, he's
funny, serious, somber, just a whole ensemble.
Yeah, I mean, you've got like really funny moments. Roles I'm trying to resonate concrete, and some of the innuendos with him dancing.
Oh yes, of course. And Captain Jack. With Captain Jack in it, it's going to have a bunch of innuendos in it. But it's brilliant.
Yeah, and there's some like more intimate moments, like when he's talking to Nancy, and some more serious moments. And the bit that always gets me, and when I was watching this, I started crying because I'm a soppy sod. It's the everybody lives moment.
Yeah,
the elation that he has. Like when he's like, come on, give me a day like this. That, the empty child, the boy is back. And his smile, oh my God, I started crying. Like,
oh, bloody hell, man.
I mean, I am a soppy sod, but yeah, it's just, that elation, it's just, honestly.
Yeah, it's one of them, it's like, obviously, like you say, there's funny moments, like talking about his nose and his ears, and,
yeah.
Obviously the bananas full of potassium.
Oh, Mr. Spock.
Yeah, it's just, funny, and it's sci-fi references, like you say, it's something that we get a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, Back to the Future in later series, and, stuff like that, it's just brilliant, but all I can say for Eccleston in this is, wow, just wow.
Absolutely. Knocks it out of the park, it's just, amazing.
Top bins.
So now let's talk about Rose, the companion Billy Piper. I mean, it's not probably her best episode, but I think she's good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, she's never bad in Series 1, I don't think. Obviously, Series 2 makes up for that. But, she's very light in this story again. I think we said, once again, in one of our earlier podcasts, I think you mentioned Aliens in London, did you say?
Yeah. I didn't feel she did an awful lot.
No, obviously she's in it. She's in it for, like, obviously, you've got the meeting of Captain Jack.
I think she does have really good interactions with the characters, and I think that does make it very memorable, like with Captain Jack.
Yeah, I think Nancy gets more, like, of a story than
kind
Rose.
Of. Yeah.
But obviously, I mean...
And also her interactions with Eccleston is great, and she does have some really, like, comic timings.
Yeah, I mean, she's very cheeky, very chappy, obviously we'll get on to Nancy in a minute, but yeah, I think it's another one of those examples of, obviously, like, a companion that isn't a companion, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so, like, obviously...
the companion that wasn't to be.
Yes, so, like Nurse Redfern.
Or Sally Sparrow.
Blood. Yes,
or... just name a few.
Yeah, but just great character overall.
So now let's get on to Captain Jack. Now, I want to just stress that I'm not going to get into obviously recently there's been allegations about John Barrowman and his fairly inappropriate behaviour on set around this time, and we're not going to get into that. But if you do want to skip, if this does make you feel uncomfortable, I'll put a time on the screen that you can skip, where you can skip past this Captain Jack discussion segment if you wish.
But yeah, Captain Jack in this episode, obviously, we meet him for the first time, and I think he's a great character. He's a great character in the whole, Doctor Who universe.
Yeah.
He's obviously come back in the recent series, and it's just amazing. I mean, obviously, he's that cheeky chappy. He's obviously, he's that confident. He's obviously, I think the Doctor obviously gets jealous of him because of
there is a bit of an ego clash with them, isn't there?
And it just shows the sort of banter between the Doctor and Captain Jack at the time. Like, I was just saying hello,
That was really funny, yeah. But I mean, I think he was great in this episode, and he's a very different character than he's a con man. He's out for money and himself.
That's true. I never thought about it like that. Obviously, this one, when he's introduced, is a completely different character to when he's in, obviously, the later series, when he's obviously the man who never dies, the face of Bo, they call me, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's obviously the man who saves the world, whereas this, he's trying to make a quick buck and he's just trying to scam the Doctor and Rose, and it's brilliant, really.
I think it's a good character arc. Like, he starts off this, but through meeting the Doctor, he becomes a better person, and that's kind of the main arc for Series 1 for me. It's the Doctor making people better.
Yeah, that's the effect of the Doctor. Obviously, later on in the series, you get to see, obviously, the amount of people that the Doctor's lives, the Doctor's cause.
I mean, we will we'll address this in the finale, but yeah. Yeah, but I think, Captain Jack is just a great character, great introduction, and he's just really good. So let's talk about the side characters. So the main one is Nancy, the mother of the empty child, and because of what happened to her son, she's sort of helping the kids, isn't she?
Yeah.
And she's sort of like, as you said, she's sort of like the companion who could have been, in a way.
And, I mean, it's obviously very relevant to the time. You've obviously got the young motherhood. I think the Doctor worked it out. She was about, 15, 16 when she had the
something like that. And it is really, when it all comes out at the end, it's really, really tragic. And like her acting is just amazing. It's faultless.
Yeah, I mean, she's an amazing actress, obviously.
Brilliant.
And it's just the portrayal of, obviously, the PTSD almost. It's like, even though there's a war on, she's got her own personal, sort of problem going on. And obviously, the Doctor once again helps with that, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, but her helping the poor, helping the starving kids, trying to work it out, it does endear you to her, and she's a very likeable character, and she's just a really endearing, lovely, sincere character. Amazing acting from, I don't know, I can't remember who the actress is, but brilliant.
Wonderful, yeah. And I think if you think about it deep down, obviously, her being all this generosity, kindness to the kids, like Robin Hood almost.
Yeah, a bit like that.
It's like a sort of a deep down trauma to sort of hide away and push deep down the loss of the son. Obviously, we then find out he's the empty child, and Jamie, as she calls him, their brother. But yeah, it's tragic.
Yeah, but great, brilliant character. But when talking about the characters, you can't forget Mr. Richard Wilson, I don't believe it, as Dr. Constantine.
Yeah, I mean...
I had to quote Wrong Foot in the Grave.
Yes, I mean, I think the one thing that really, solidifies it for me is the gas mask transition.
Oh, that bit is just horrific. In a good way.
It was a wonderful... I mean, Stephen Moffat, you've done wonders here. It's genuinely horrifying.
It is just...
How it comes out of his mouth, his eyes, he says...
The way his vocals, it's horrifying, And, Richard Wilson, he's not in it much, but for what he does do, he's really good. Yeah. I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, I was in lockdown, I was watching Merlin for the first time, and he was one of the best bits about it.
Oh, of course, yeah, and... Obviously, now that I think about it, obviously I'm going through it in my head. You've obviously watched it recently. I've watched it countless times. It's one of the DVDs I had. But certain scenes are just creepy and a bit. It's like people think that obviously Empty Child's one of the scariest episodes, and I can 100% agree. It's dark. And when he goes but there's no cause of death, and he goes, they're not dead. Wax the bins, and they all sort of sit up.
Yeah.
That freaked me out, because it's just like the slowness, the slow burn delivery of that line, and then he whacks the bin with his stick, and brilliant.
But I tell you what does creep me out, the moments that you don't remember. Like, obviously, there's the bit with him. You know, there's the cliffhanger. There's the bit in the kid's room when the tape brought out. Like, there's those scenes that are burned in your brain. You can quote them, but there's also the other scenes like when some of the army soldiers at the end get transformed. It's like you don't really remember them. So when you jog your memory, it's oh god.
Yeah, you really start to see it's like a disease almost. You know, like obviously that's another thing as well. It's very disease in the episode, isn't it? It's like it's not a physical like disease, obviously, or you get a cold, whatever. But it's brilliant. It's very topical as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about the horror of the episode. I mean, people do say that this is one of the scarier stories in Series 1. Probably the scariest, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously people have got that list of, like, all the scariest episodes, like The Silence, The Weeping Angels.
I did a video on that ages ago, like, back. It was like, it was around the time we did our Ranking the Doctor videos, it might have been before.
Oh, God. That video, it's cursed on the line. I mean, my hair, my voice.
My hair, my voice.
We didn't make good decisions, did we? Anyway, let's move on.
Alright, but this episode is scary. I mean, the actual empty child itself is an iconic Doctor Who monster, and it's just creepy. I mean, the gas mask, it was obviously back then meant to be somewhat to protect you, but looking back in hindsight, it looks creepy. Like the empty eyes and the mouth, it looks weird and it just doesn't look right.
Yeah, because you can't see the face. It's obviously a mask, and it's frightening.
I thought of this recently. Like, imagine if this episode was set in 2020 and it was a kid wearing a face covering.
Or even worse, one of them big face shields.
Oh yeah, I mean that would hit really close to home. That would.
Oh god, bloody hell! I mean, imagine that. And you got any hand sanitizer? Get away! I mean, he needs some with that bloody scar on his hand. He needs to clean that up.
Oh, that would be
He needs a
amazing.
wash, mate. But it's generally like you say, the jump scares. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I mean the idea of like this child is innocent. It makes innocence scary, like in a lot of horror films, like The Exorcist and
Chucky.
Like childish things made scary.
It's obviously like the contrast of obviously in Doctor Who from classic all the way up to obviously the modern until this episode. Obviously, there's all these big scary monsters like the Daleks and the Slitheen would rip us to shreds and destroy the world, but it's a child. You know, it's innocent, it's naive, it's vulnerable, and you don't know what it can do, and it's just powerful.
Yeah. And the catchphrase "I'm a mummy" is just as powerful as exterminate.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Tennant means it in Poison Sky.
He did, didn't he? Yeah. I like Poison Sky. I like that one.
Yeah. But anyway, getting ahead of ourselves. But it's genuinely freaky episode. Gave me nightmares for a couple of weeks. But yeah, all around decent.
Yeah, the jump scares are so well done. Like, it does subvert your expectations. There's things set up like the child talking on the tape or the typewriter, and then they keep carrying on. But there's things that you don't realise have happened, like they've moved away or the tape has ended, and it's like, why is that still happening? Why is that still happening? Oh God!
It's there.
Yeah, and then the graphic stuff with the gas mask transformations, and it's horrifying.
And sometimes I actually forget it's a Doctor Who episode because it doesn't feel like it could easily be a horror short film, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you just take out the facts of obviously the time travel, actually you can even keep that in. It's just that could work as a short film.
Yeah.
I said what I said.
It could. Yeah. It really could. Yeah. So another thing about this episode, it is quite grim. I mean, even though there's no death until the end, it's a really bleak story. Watching it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Doctor Who, it's like, obviously, a death. It's, you know, someone either gets killed off in the first half, or, you know, or you don't see a death on screen, you find out what happened. But this, there's no real discernible death, because like Dr. Constantine says, they're not dead. So it's just like zombies. Obviously, gas mask zombies are referred to, so it's frightening.
It's just unsettling how grim it is, and like how. But until you get to the end, it feels like there's no hope left. There's a bomb about to drop. There's the World War II atmosphere with the London Blitz. There's all these people who've turned into gas mask zombies just coming for them. Jack's gone to deal with the bomb, and it's like there's no hope.
If it wasn't for the nanogenes, then
they'd all be dead. And the nanogenes are a really cool concept, and I think that's something, like him or hate him, Stephen Moffat never failed at it. Even if the execution might not have always been great, looking at the hybrid art from Series 9.
Yes.
I cannot stand Hellbent. I don't want to talk about Hellbent because I just don't like talking about it. Anyway, what you can't ever take away from Moffat is that he always came up with some cool ideas and cool concepts. Like nanogenes is really cool. The whole girl in the fireplace. The spaceship of Madame de Pompadour. The idea of the Weeping Angels in Blink. The cracking time for Series 5 and the Pandorica.
It's like he likes to make it a sci-fi. Like obviously science fiction. It's obviously the science of obviously the time and the vortex and all that. But like nanogenes, that's obviously it's biology and it's like genetics and obviously vaccination technically and stuff like that and genetic mutation and I've just done a biology exam so it's in my head. It's you know what I mean, like he brings stuff like that into it, like obviously the like obviously black hole
in World of Time, but there was also there's also fantasy ideas that he came up with in Heaven Sent there was the confession dial.
Yes.
Like basically like the Mind Palace in Sherlock kind of.
Oh, yes.
There's he always came up with some really interesting ideas and there's some great stuff in this. So let's talk about the direction. I think this episode looks amazing and I know I've said that Series 1 doesn't quite hold up. This does, and I say that at the end of the world I said it doesn't really look, it looks just like the Anne's front room and it doesn't really look that great. This one, I think because of it World War II setting, I think the sort of the lower quality of Series 1, like it's in standard definition, not high definition, I think it works better.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to make a compilation for the amount of times I've said this, but from a filmmaker's perspective, obviously, McDonald's, it genuinely holds up over time, and as I said earlier on, it could be a short film. It's that good and holds up well, like you say. There's a good use of different camera angles. Obviously, it's multi-camera, like you say, it's standard definition, not exactly high. Like I say, multi-camera angles, which one thing I have noticed is obviously, I'm going to use this as an example, Benidorm. In the earlier seasons of Benidorm, there's a lot of handheld, which made it look very real to life. And then obviously later on in the seasons, it's all multi-camera, crane, tripod on leg shots. But you do get the odd mix in this episode. Like you get obviously the handhelds if someone's. I have seen handhelds, but not exactly like shaky like the in-betweeners do.
Yeah.
Just like maybe some slow sort of. It'll still be on a mount on the shoulder maybe, but personally, brilliant direction, visually stunning.
Absolutely, some great low angles and high angles, and in the beginning, some just great. Just camera work was great, direction was great, visually the effects are great.
Yeah, I was going to say that's another thing you said, that some of the CGI doesn't hold up, but whereas obviously like Big Ben, like obviously the spaceship, Jack's spaceship, the blimp, the sort of like the portal where Jack catches the bomb.
The nanogenes as well.
Nanogenes, exactly. I think the nanogenes are a bit weak now. I think of it. It's very simple.
But I think that the reason that really they hold up because they're simple, like the Gelf.
Yeah, they're just like, and that's the thing. Obviously, nanogenes are not supposed to be anything special. They're just like atoms in the air, really.
Yeah.
So even though it's a simple stock, cheap effect, it works, like you say.
Yeah. So before we get on to the conclusion, final thoughts, I want to talk about the ending scene, the Everybody Lives.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't really talk about, ending much on this. We've not done, have we, really?
Not really, no.
But I mean, you told me about your event, as you watched it earlier on. Soppy Sod, I'll let you take the stage. What do you think of it, Danny?
It is one of the best moments in Doctor Who history, because it's like, it's so bleak, as we mentioned, this story is. It gets very dark, and in terms of Series 1, you know, the Ninth Doctor has lost us so much, so it's that elation that, just this once, he can have he can have a victory, he wins.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the contrast, it's just dawned on me, the contrast of that, like, it's obviously Doctor Who, there's a lot of death, obviously Davros in the montage, obviously you've sad the lives, but at what cost? Shows a montage of all the people dying for the Doctor's name.
Yeah. And I don't think they should do this like an Everybody Lives all the time. I think when you repeat it, it does get a bit too, like,
100%.
well, there's no stakes now.
Yeah,
but
it's like a super... Yeah, I was just about to say, like, it's what they did with Marvel, wasn't it? Like, obviously, in every single Marvel film, it was like, oh, yeah, the superheroes wins, but obviously in Infinity War, half of them die.
And then Endgame, some of them die, like Iron Man and Black Widow, and a few others as well.
And it's obviously, it's just, I mean, the contrast between the war that's going on at the minute. Obviously, World War II is a tragic war. There's so many lives lost.
So, you know, it was an awful time in history, but this episode, it's like the light in all of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, there's always misery, especially in 2021. There's a hell of a lot of misery going on, and you know, and it's just kind of, you want to see just something that you just want to see people win. Yeah. You just want to see, you know, you just want to be happy, and it just, you know, just even if it's just this once, you know that we've won.
As I say, this is turning into this morning. Willoughby, we were talking about, oh yeah, it's okay to feel fat. It's just, what are we doing?
So, conclusion. Ronnie, I'll let you start.
Wow, I mean, such an honour to be picked first. This is genuinely a fantastic story. As I say, it could easily pass off as a short film. I'd be honoured if I got the chance to direct or make something like this.
It'd be amazing.
It's just brilliant. The only concern that I have with it is that I'm not watching it right now. It's completely perfect. 10 out of 10. End of story. Thank you.
Okay. I've made it clear in the past that this is my favourite Doctor story, and Vincent and the Doctor has dethroned that in the past sort of year. Yeah. Rewatching it now,
it probably takes the top spot.
It does. I'm going to say it now. The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances is once again my favourite Doctor Who story. Vincent is still a masterpiece, though. Don't get it twisted. But I have literally no qualms with this episode. The Doctor, the companions, the sidecast, the monster, the horror, the direction, the historical setting. Even though you
grimness.
Even though you could have it anywhere. The ending, one of the absolute best moments in Doctor Who history. Up there with the Doctor Falls speech. Up there with the Vincent and the Doctor speech. Up there with Genesis of the Daleks, Do I Have the Right? Up there with the final scene in Classic Who Survival. Honestly, like, I just adore it so much. There is literally nothing wrong with it.
No, I mean, 100% the best episode of Series 1.
By far.
The best two-parter of any Doctor Who story. The best. Definitely Eccleston's best. Definitely Rose's best. It's just the best.